Hello and welcome to another episode of It's Not Hard, where we look at the uses, construction, and tying techniques of knots. Remember, there's no right way to tie a knot, but there are plenty of wrong ways, so always check your knot before trusting it to any critical load. Today we're going to look at one of the most basic and useful knots you should know, the Bowline knot. The Bowline knot it forms a fixed loop. So this loop is fixed in that it doesn't change in size, so it's not a slip knot of any kind. It is fixed once you tie it. It's useful for attaching to other loops like a tent or a tarp grommet or any kind of stake or anchoring point. Very useful for attaching the end of the line to a fixed point. It's a very reliable knot, meaning it doesn't come undone easily under slack or play, and it's more than strong enough for most camping needs. Most people rate it around 2/3 the strength of the line. I don't do strength tests, but if you look online, you'll find other people do those type of things. They'll say that for a paracord like this, a 550 paracord, this would break under around 360 pounds. So more than strong enough for camping or most outdoor needs. I'm tying the left-handed version here, which means that the tail of the working end here is on the outside. I like that because it keeps my loop clean for camping needs. For other uses, you can do the normal version with the tail on the inside if you don't want that tail out here, if you're worried it's going to snag on something or catch. It's just your preference. There's no difference in strength or performance. They're basically equal. So let's look at this knot. Let's look at the construction of this knot. This knot is basically two parts. It has a loop here that goes around this loop here, goes around the standing end, which then the standing end comes around and wraps around and secures this loop. So it holds itself together that way. And that's what makes it a reliable knot. And let's look at a couple ways to tie it. First way to tie this knot, the most common way, is to twist. So I'm twisting, I'm turning this hand this way, twisting it over, and putting a loop so that this end is over this end. Like that. Once you have that, you can then take this end up and through, around the standing end, and then back through the loop. Then if you just grab the tail of your working end and the other piece that went through the loop, grab the standing end and just pull it tight. Like that. So dressing this knot is pretty simple. I'm just holding these ends right here like this. I'm holding the loop and the tail, standing end, and pulling it tight until it's snug. So when you tie that, you make that loop. This is the end, obviously, that goes through whatever you're attaching. So if I had a carabiner, let's pretend this is a fixed loop and it doesn't actually open. This is the part that goes through it, right? So I put that through. Through the loop I made, around the standing end, and then back through the loop. I grab the loop in the tail, pull the standing end tight, and I've now attached it. should look like that. Okay, so taking it apart is pretty easy. That's not a nice thing about this knot. Even under load, it comes apart easily. Just pull back on the loop that goes around the standing end. Pull the standing end out and it comes apart. Another way to tie it, maybe you want your standing end away from you. So it's out there somewhere. This is my working end. I take that working end. I just go over, under, and turn over like that. Now I've made the loop that way. So same knot, just making the loop a different way. And so now I'm making it facing away from me. Over, under, and back through like that. Now I just grab the tail on the loop, grab the working end, the standing end, and pull it tight. And I've got the loop again. And the last way to make it that I'll show, there's plenty more ways, but the last one that I'll show is called the lightning method. So you make your loop, again, like that. Then I pull this down through. Pull my tail through, hold on to my tail on my loop still. Pull my working end tighter. Pull it tight. Now, that tends to slip a little bit when you do that, so you do need to be careful. This is obviously not enough tail if you're putting it under real load, but that's the idea. Let me do that one again. Make your loop. Pull your standing end through to form a bite, and then take your tail of your working end, put it through, down through. I'm grabbing this, I'm grabbing this. I'm pulling both of those. At the same time I'm pulling the standing end here. It sort of forms a mess a little bit there, but it will tighten up and form the same knot. Lastly, you can do the double bowline. Don't confuse this with the bowline on a bite. That's a different knot. But the double bowline is simply wrapping it twice. So if you have your if you need more strength, maybe you're using high molecular weight polyethylene or some other slippery rope, you basically make two loops. So it's one, I make another, around, oops, gotta go through it, around, back down, and pull it tight. So this is the same knot, it's wrapped around the tail here twice to give it extra strength for slip material. Thanks for watching, and remember, with a little practice and a little patience, it's not hard.